Hello and welcome back to Music Monday with Johnny Tiger. The date is November 16, 2020, and we're here to do another album preview. We've done three so far, and as usual, in the description of the video, I will include the link or one of the sample links where you can find all the Johnny ST Tai music. But there again, no matter if you use Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon, you should be able to find it on whatever platform that is your music player, music distributor of choice. Just look for Johnny ST Tai, and if you want to include an album name, so far we have done a preview or a review uh, of three albums: The Stories of My Life and In Loveless Love. Um, and I know there was another one that we've done so far. Let me see if I can find it. Um, uh, yeah, the Sunrise of Home. Yeah, that's it. So the Sunrise of Home, Stories of My Life, and In Loveless Love. Those are the three that we have previewed so far. And today we are going to do another one. This one is in some ways quite special in its own right. Well, they all are, but I'm kind of biased. But this one is special in that this was the last album ever released by the Cat, rather than just by me as a solo artist. And this was also one the album that was in pre-production for the longest time. Like it's set in demo stage for almost 7 years before finally getting released. While originally it was slotted for release at around 2010, and it was sitting in there for the longest time because of all the logistic issues and other production issues, and of course the cat was kind of coming to an end, and that didn't help matter either. Um, this album is named Legends, and I was trying for several new things, new approaches in this album. You will notice that this album will appear to be a little bit more pop, a little bit more electronic than most of my other materials. There's a lot more keyboard, there's a lot more electronic instrumentation. Also, the theme we are going for in this album is almost every song in this album was to do with some kind of a characterization, some kind of book character, movie character, stereotype character, etc., etc. Um, I was well, I've always been a big book reader. I read a lot of book, in particular fantasy book. I played a lot of video game. So I am constantly exposed to characterizations and stereotyping and character building, no matter if in games or in books or in TV shows or in movies. So I decided when I was working on this album, I wanted to focus on was most of the song being uh, a particular kind of character, a particular characterization. So to start this off, the first song is called Lament of the Wind and also called Boromir. Now, for those of you who read a lot of fantasy books, those of you who watched or read Lord of the Ring, you will instantly recognize the name Boromir, one of the original, one of the warriors from the original Fellowship of the Ring, who bravely died to protect his uh, uh, teammates, I guess you can say, his fellowship. And despite Boromir never had a really outstanding or really big role, whether in the book or in the movie, he has always been one of my personal favorite in the Lord of the Ring book, the Lord of the Ring movies, just because of that final moment where he single-handedly fought off countless enemies just to save his friend. That scene just sat with me, touched me so deeply. And in the book, after he uh, after his body was discovered, his friend gave him a warrior's burial, and they there was a poem called "Lament of the Wind" in the original novel. And when I read that poem, this melody just came into my head um, automatically, and I sat down on the first I started with the guitar, and then I took this and played it on the piano keyboard and made it into a song, and it became the first song on the Legends album. So yeah, I wrote the melody, I did the instrumentation, I played it, I sang it, but the lyrics of Lament of the Wind actually came from the original Lord of the Ring novels themselves.
Go ahead now, fan and feel when the long time runs. The west wind so far and about the walls it goes. What views from the west, oh wandering wind, do you bring to me tonight? Have you seen motor music all by moon or by starlight? I saw him ride over seven brave over waters wide and gray. I saw him walking after that until he passed away. Into the shadows of the north I saw his end no more. The north wind may have heard the voice of the son of Denethor. Upon me from the high wall westward I heard afar. But you did not round the empty land where no man gone. From the mouth of the sea to the south wind high, from the sand midnight fall.
Now, another thing I want to bring up about this Legends album is the album was actually recorded around 2009, 2010. So most of you who are familiar with my current work will notice that the sound quality really, really is not that good, and that is why, because this album was made at a time when I still wasn't very good at mastering my own music and equalization and all those sound engineering stuff. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. Now, there have been uh, there have been questions regarding to what I consider remaking this album. And I said, no, I'm not going to, because a lot of these were done with when the Cat was still together as a band, and for me to rework these songs and rebranding them, republishing them. It's just like a lot of work for old materials. And I think the album has the cat kind of charm to it, where in the beginning of our career, the cat album were known to be very nice but poorly recorded, and yeah, and yet people still bought them, and I kind of thought that it has a kind of honesty, kind of quality to it. So I wanted to just preserve it as it is, rather than trying to redo the entire album. The second song on the album is basically the namesake of the album. This one, the second song is called "The Legend of the North." This is actually taken from a poem that I wrote way back when I was in high school. I wrote a poem called "The Legend of the North," talking about the migration of a wolf pack that trying to find the more hospitable uh, land, new territories, get away from the cold and blizzard and storms of the Great North, and all the difficulties Wolfpack would have to go through making a journey like that. And later, we made this song into the second song on this album, "The Legend of the North," which is perhaps one of the most energetic songs that I've ever written myself. So here is "The Legend of the North" by Johnny S.T. Tai from the album Legends.
Long time ago, in the far northern land, where icy storms would rage its summer's end, there was the path of hunters of the night. There was the children of the Bear tribe. When the nights were long and there were dark clouds in the sky, you would hear the sound of their haunting cry. One night of elders all proclaimed to run. He spoke of the visions and placed upon the flowers. Those lights we must, in a generation be lost. We must hunt where the sun shines all night long. So happy time, let her be that no one never die. Legend of the North will never be lost. The chasing a dream that's burning in their heart. Hundreds of the North will never be stopped. So go on till the last of them is gone.
Now you guys could definitely hear that I was having a lot of fun playing with various settings and dials and messing around with our voices and stuff like that for that song. Um, Goofy, yes, and definitely very much experimental. Not all of it turned out the way I liked it to be, but it was definitely a really fun song to do. The next song, perhaps, was the most ironic thing that ever happened to me in my adult life with regarding to songs that I've written. The next song is called Farewell, and it was in 2008 when, at the end of the year, my Dragon Boat team, our team, the coach for the team, was leaving the team after leading us to victory after victory for 3 or 4 years. And so we threw this big farewell party for the guy, and they asked me to write him a farewell song, and this was a result of that effort. Now, the ironic part was it turned out the guy wasn't going to leave the team after all. That he just told everyone he was going to leave to get some reaction to see how much the team loved him and just to get some attention and then uh, shortly after the truth came out, I ended up leaving the team due to some unpleasant internal team politics. So the farewell song that I wrote for someone else turned out to be a farewell song I wrote for myself because the person that this was intended for wasn't going to leave the team after all. So yeah, is that irony or is that irony, eh? Here is Farewell by Johnny S. Detail from the album Legends.
On the day when you made up your mind, there was nothing left but goodbye. For all that we've done and all that we tried, we knew we couldn't be through. Was that the day when we proven ourselves by sending you away with smile? Was the love not to go? Was the love to go home? Like you didn't walk alone. We knew there was things to want to say. They would be along the way. Did you know that we were doing this thing, pretending to be friends? When you're flying along over mountain new sky, do you still think about the days that gone? Can you still remember the name you left behind? We're wishing you well. When you're sailing along out on the open sea, can you still hear the prayers that we say? I wanna stay again, just so you won't forget that we still are your friends.
Yeah, a very ironic circumstance giving birth to not too bad of a song, if I may say so myself. The next song I'm going to show you from this album is called Hero Stream, and a lot of people really like this song. Um, this song was inspired by an old Chinese song by Dave Wong, and this was back when I was working at a karaoke restaurant as a part-time musician DJ when I was a teenager. This was one of the Chinese songs that people requested for me to perform almost every time I went to work. A lot of, especially older people who knew the song, loved the way I performed it. So I decided to transpose it to an English version and in hope to deliver the same kind of magic uh, in English. Hero Stream, the lyrics was inspired by a series of books I was reading at the time back in 2004, the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Um, talking about this gunslinger who travels through time and dimension to fulfill a destiny that him alone seemed to be able to save the world. And he was this very gritty, very cold, aloof hero that seemed to be willing to let go of love, friendship, friends, and companionship. He was willing to achieve his end by any means possible. And in the end, well, I'm not going to spoil the book for you, but in the end, it ended really sad. Really, it has a really uh, aggravating, really maddening kind of ending to the book that made me think uh, of the lyrics, make me come up with the lyrics to the hero's dream. Uh, the song basically talk about how so often we focus on the glory, we focus on success, and the hero will focus on becoming the hero. But in the end, what do we really have other than the dream itself, the dream of whatever we want to do? And when you finally accomplish what you want to do, when the dream finally becomes reality, then you don't have the dream anymore, and it becomes a sad, empty existence. So here is a hero's dream from the Legends album by Johnny S.T. Tai.
Mountains high, waters deep. Who can know what heroes dream? In the dawn, in the cold, oh alone. They may cry, they may laugh, maybe just like you and I. Only that they know where they used to fly. There's a winner glory's high. There's a winner who I feel. There's a winner that knows what's the bottom line. There's a winner hating love, and she rules it never again. And what is that to him? It's the empty land. I recline proud to see to the hero even see in the end. Oh, he's gone in the old hero's dream.
That was Hero's Dream, and I some of you might have picked up that I was singing like I was trying to impersonate someone like Don Henley or Bryan Adams. Um, Not quite sure why I chose to sing it that way at the time, but it's definitely unique. It's not my normal, especially now. It's not the way I perform most of the time now. Although I will say in the early 2000s, I tend to have that more raspy uh, kind of vocalization, uh, more easy than I can pull that off today. Um, the next song I'll show you, this one called On Strike. The original title I wanted to give it was called The Rebel, but then I thought On Strike is more fitting for this song. This song I wrote it around 2010, 2009, 2010. I remember this really well. This song is unique in that it's the probably the only song I've ever written that have a swear word in it, have the F word in it. So just like heads up, Yeah, if you have kids listening, you might want to tell them to go find mommy in the kitchen or something, or find daddy in the garage, whatever. Get the kids out of the room. But yeah, this is like the only song I've ever written that I actually did use a swear word in the song. But I myself find that it was very fitting because it totally suited my emotional state at the time. Um, it was a few years after I finished university and work was very sparse. I wasn't getting a lot of work. Money was tight. I was trying to pay off my student loan. And my mom was staying at my place for a few months and just driving me crazy every day with question like, shouldn't you find another job? And what are you going to do if you don't have money? And you're almost 30 years old, and how come you're not making more money? And yada yada yada. And one day I remember she went out shopping, and I decided I didn't want to go with her because I had enough of her. So I stayed home and I started playing around on the guitar and the keyboard, and I just let the lyric flow out of me from everything I was feeling at the time, and it became the song called "On Strike." Basically, I just wanted to throw everything away. I just wanted to slam that door and walk away from the city, from everything in my life, and just kept on walking and kept on walking. Didn't want to pay rent anymore. Didn't want to worry about finance or work or school or degrees or all that stuff anymore. I just wanted to get away. I just wanted to go on strike. So here is On Strike by Johnny Stitai from the Legends album.
Ah, I don't wanna stay here. I don't wanna reason. There's a reason possibility to pieces around me. There's a one who cares about them. Try to find the destiny. I just wonder. I think you talk about. I don't wanna pay tax. I don't wanna work hard. I will spend all my money with my heart inside that. Oh, the bills and rent and student loan, throw them my way for the fuck. This is bad. I'll be on my way. You will see me when I drift back here again. And you will see that I'll be happier than I am. Because all I've been doing is trying, trying only to have the things I want taken away all at once. I don't wanna stay here. I don't wanna reason. That's the reason about the ability for to pieces around me. All the people who still believe that the plan be destroyed. This is this bad. I'll be on my way. Ah.
Back in early 2009, I attended a series of group workshop, conferences, and uh, therapy work designed for counselors that have to work with people who've gone through abusive childhood. And of course, going through these workshops was difficult for me because I had a pretty traumatic childhood myself. So after one of these particularly grueling emotional workshops, listening to all the stories of different people that have gone through various traumatic events in their childhood, I came home and grabbed my guitar and started playing. I didn't even think about writing a song. I just played. I wanted to direct that sad negative energy out of me. I wanted to channel that through my music, turn it into something beautiful, uh, and something I could hear myself playing. And I felt the energy just flowing out of me into my song, into the guitar, and then the words came into my head, and I sat down and wrote the next song called "The Child." It's my favorite song on this album, and it is the first time ever that I harmonized myself on one of my albums, and it was a little bit rough around the edges, but uh, like I said, it's one of my favorite songs from this particular album, and probably one of my favorite songs of all time as well. One of my bigger regrets is when I did the final recording, I went a little bit lighter on the guitar and went heavy on the uh, piano keyboard. If I ever redo this song, I might do an unplugged version someday, and just on the guitar, I think it would be a lot more beautiful. Here is The Child from the Legends album by Johnny S. Titi.
Many nights I see you there, alone in the dark. You cry no tears, thinking of that long ago. You try not to let it show. I don't know what I can say to make the pain so go away. In the darkest of the hours, the child cries out again. Butterflies in summer dream, a mother's touch and childhood friend. If they're all taken away, how can you go on then? But I know that we will try until we fall down in surprise. And even then we'll try to stand and find that we still can. Some of us will take our chance to make our world so bright again. Even though the pain's still there, it's no worse than before. Some of us have washed our face and turned to the dark to hide our face. Even though the child is gone, the pain's too much to bear. Ah, la 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 la. Sometimes we would ask ourselves, is there a point to go on still? Give so much and get so few. Is there a reason to? I know they have hurt us deep, so deep the wound they still do bleed. But if we don't try to live, we let them hurt us again. Some of us will take our chance to make our world so bright again. Even though the pain feels there, it's no worse than before. Some of us have lost our faith and turned to the thought to hide our face. Even though the child is gone,